The show starts now. Welcome to the weekly round table, where the takes are hot and FOMO set to disable. Welcome to the weekly round table, where friends are made and we all drink that red maple. Break. Juan's got his eyes on the latest somehow. We being forex that make you go wild. Crypto crazy is a man on a mission like a Tesla. He most def got a vision. Weekly round table, we got no cables. Predicting the future using their bagels. Chart is throwing out numbers, no trouble. He finds the gems for real, no struggle. Calculations running through your mind. Weighing options, seeing what you'll find. Crypto waves crashing like the tide. Hold your breath, it's a crazy ride. Welcome to the weekly round table, where the takes are hot and FOMO set to disable. Welcome to the weekly round table.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the weekly roundtable, Thursday, November the 14th. Appreciate everyone joining. Before we get going, just want to make sure everyone understands this is strictly for entertainment and education purposes only. Nothing we say on this stream is financial advice. That being said, let's call up our co-host this week. First off, we have Juan. How you doing this week, sir?
Fired up. Another great week in the crypto world, in the forex world, and all financial institutions.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Next, we have Terry. Terry's joining us again this week, return guest. Thank you very much for joining us this week. Terry, how are you?
Hey, good evening. I'm doing well. Yeah, it was fantastic week. Great run up in the markets after the election.
It was fabulous. Excellent. Okay, so many of you probably saw the thumbnail, maybe a little bit of clickbait, but we do want to make sure that everyone understands that, we lost one, that everyone understands that, the market is euphoric right now. Markets are pumping. Everything is pretty much pumping. Bitcoin is actually taking charge. It is the granddaddy. It's bleeding a lot of liquidity from the alts. Some of the alts are not doing as well because Bitcoin dominance is up, which we will show you a little bit in the stream. But it is definitely not time to panic. We had quite the pump from the previous all-time highs. We were ranging in that area for quite a few months, and we were bound to break out. We finally did. And now Bitcoin's having a bit of a cool off, currently sitting at 87,905. We did top out at 93,000, or at least close to it. We can check the charts here in a minute. But yeah, we had a high of 93,483. Juan is back. Welcome back, Juan. We must have lost you there for a minute.
Yep. Just had some technical difficulties, but should be good now.
Okay. All right, so what we'll do, gentlemen, today, as usual, we'll check out the news. We'll do the market watch. We'll check out the Bitcoin chart, and then we'll discuss on the roundtable different topics, including this week we're going to go over possible exit strategies. No, it's not time yet. We still have a lot more, long way to go in this market, but it's always good to be prepared, always good to have a plan. You never want to be left holding the bag, so to speak. So we'll get right to it with, boom, there we go. All right. So as I was saying, go back up here. Okay. So on the market, Bitcoin currently at 88,055. Oh, no, let me give this a refresh. I don't think that's up to date. Here we go. Oh, 88,000 it is. So we just get back over 88,000. We were at 87 for a little while. Ethereum at 3,083. And then up here, they have Binance going to 624. So the major news, other than, I know we try not to get too political on the channel, but it was just announced recently that Elon Musk and Vivek, I can't even pronounce his last name, Ramaswamy, sorry if I butchered that, but they are going to be heading up the DOGE department, the Department of Government Efficiency, where they're going to trim a lot of the wasted money in the U.S. government, bureaucrats, et cetera, et cetera. And what that did is it really got Dogecoin and aka another one, a meme coin called Doge, D.O.G.E. Which is the acronym for the Division of Government Economics. So we those two coins, especially the meme coin, really popped off. Other news, Ethereum whales have arrived. Pepe has rallied. There's been, everyone knows that Pepe is one of the biggest memes out there. The community has rallied, and the Pepe community has rallied, and the pump 78% as of the time of this article. That's just incredible to see. There are a few others, like I mentioned, Dogecoin, who had a massive pump, Pepe, and there was a few others as well. A few others in the top 20 for meme coins. Now, I did want to go over this one. It's no secret that this channel is definitely a fan of Solana. I've been following and buying and trading Solana for quite some time, and it's had a little bit of a rise recently. And one of the main reasons for that is DEX volume. Their volume, it took a little bit of a dip there for a while. Ethereum, came on a little bit strong. The price reflected that on Ethereum, and a lot of the liquidity was going into DeFi on Ethereum chain. But it's returning back to Solana now, as well as Sui. And I can show you on DeFi Llama here. If we look at DeFi Llama, that overview of all the chains, you can see right here Solana is number 2, again in volume, has overtaken Tron, and then even Sui has dropped back a little bit. But Solana is up 27% on the month, whereas Ethereum is up as well, but only up 21%. And then a few other outliers. I'm not sure what this Hyperliquid is. I'd have to look into that. But anyway, so that supports the article here saying that Solana is showing strength and that the price is going to continue going up. And it shows on on-chain metrics, like I just showed you on DeFi Llama. And then there's a little graph here showing that in their DeFi and in their decentralized applications, the volume has just skyrocketed. So continuing on with the market news, we have Bitcoin analytics brace for 6-figure BTC. Everyone is really euphoric and bullish on Bitcoin. If we look at the fear and greed, I don't have that chart pulled up, but it's still at extreme greed. But I mean, you can't really expect anything else when Bitcoin goes from 60 sub 60,000s all the way up to 90,000 in just a week, which is crazy. We'll show that in the Bitcoin chart here in a minute. Okay, what else we got? Okay, that's Bitcoin news. Okay, let's go over some of the prices in the crypto currently. Top gainers. I did want to mention this as well. PAL. There was a bit of a FUD storm on that, and it dipped quite a lot a couple of days ago. I'm not sure exactly how much it dipped, but I believe it was like 60 or 70%. But it's on its way back up. It rebounded 25% today. So we have Bitcoin at 87,965, Ethereum at 3,082, BNB 625, Solana, as previously mentioned, 211. There's Dogecoin right there, up 80% on the 7-day, which is just crazy. And then there's a few others that are like that as well. And then we have XRP, who's had a really good week, a really good couple of days, as a matter of fact. It's up 41% on the week. And then scrolling down, ADA did have a really good, strong week last week. It's still up for this week, 31%. And then we'll scroll all the way down here to Sui, which has fallen back to number 17 from 15 because Avalanche has popped back up. And then, of course, Pepe with a 98% of the week, almost a 2x in 1 week, which is insane. Even though Sui is still up 45%. So that's not too bad either. Let's go over to, I wasn't showing the tab. My bad. Here's the chart here. I was going over the markets. Okay, so here's the Bitcoin chart. I will share this one instead. So currently, as I mentioned, 88,294. The volatility on Bitcoin has been nuts. Everyone can see this is the channel that we were in for the longest time. And then we finally broke out, retested, and off to the races. Now, the one thing I did want to mention, the volume is still up there. But if you look down here at the stochastic RSI, that's a good indicator to tell you, the strength, whether or not it's overheated, oversold, overbought. And right now, as I had mentioned, it's hovering right here around between 90, 91, which is on the upper end. And, that usually indicates that Bitcoin needs to have a bit of a cool off. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I do want to get Terry's viewpoint on the Bitcoin chart and how things have been the last week. And what do you expect to happen in the short term?
Well, I do expect a pullback here. We just had a really impulsive move up. So wouldn't surprise me at all if price would come back down and test that. So we broke out of a major rising channel that we had the monthly. But we also had that descending channel, sort of a flag. I know everybody was watching the flag. We haven't hit the target on that. We have not hit the target on the monthly channel either, which is, let's see, where's that? Just under 100,000, I think. Yeah, like 98 or something like that. So I expect we're going to come back down, and I did like the pivot at 69,000. That's just been really super strong for us. But I think maybe we have there's a monthly closure right around 71,000, super close to the 0.5 fib on this leg up. So I'd kind of like to see price come back down and maybe check that 71,000 level before continuing up. That would seem pretty healthy to me. I know that's a pretty good drop.
Yeah, but you know what they say: the more of a drop and reset you have, the bigger the move afterwards. So that wouldn't be such a bad thing. I have the monthly chart here pulled up, and speaking of that RSI, back when we had this initial pump earlier in the year in March, April, the RSI went way up. Yeah, we were in the 97, 98, but currently we're actually in the safe zone around 60 on the monthly. Which is surprising, actually. I didn't take a look at the monthly RSI, but I guess I should have, because it's still in the safe zone. So there may be a little bit more room to run before we have a pullback. But I mean, when you have that size of a monthly candle, a pullback is probably inevitable, but we will wait and see. Juan, any insight from you on the Bitcoin chart?
Well, a couple of things, right? Let's continue to give out that shout out to XRP, right? I think that we were talking about it last week, where we were asking if Cardano is going to start making its move and encroaching XRP's territory and on the rankings, and XRP responded. Well done to those holders. I'm hoping that that rally continues. Bitcoin, not surprising. When you look at gold, huge dump, right? As we all know, gold has always been a great store of value. However, I think a lot of people did move a lot of those funds over from gold into Bitcoin. I've always said that. And this is a direct correlation of that effect. Which is good, right? Because gold is always going to be there. So it just kind of solidifies how powerful Bitcoin really is. It's backed by gold in some ways. And so I foresee this rally to continue. I think they're just now hoping now that this move happened, that the rest of the investors are going to push it towards 100K. And I think that's the plan from now until the end of the year. Is trying to see when this 100K mark is going to be hit, and if it's going to be the new standard, right? Because we just can't hit it and regress back to 50K. It has to be able to hold. And it can't depend on gold to do that. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, and just to add, good point there, Juan, and good shout out on XRP. Yeah, it's had a pretty good run. I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that what's going on. Not only did the government going to change hands, but the rumors that the SEC will have a new commissioner, whether or not Gensler steps down or if he is replaced, that's unsure. And also I read today that 17 or 18 states have come together, and they're actually filing a lawsuit against the SEC for stifling the crypto development and using basically regulation by enforcement. So that's that's big news, because those companies or those crypto projects that are being sued right now, it leaves a chance for those to be either thrown out or settled quickly. And as a result, you see a couple of those projects pumping today, in the last couple of days, and XRP being one of them. Also on the chart here, I just pulled up the hourly just to see, and you can see clearly here that once Bitcoin lost that 200 EMA on the hourly, it tried to pump back up, retested it, and got rejected. And we are getting a little bit of a pump now. So that is short term. And then back on the daily, you can see we're still way above. Oh, let me fix my chart here. We're still way above the 200 safely. There we go. Ooh.
Yeah, we talked about that as well, right? Of Bitcoin respecting the EMAs. and making sure that we take advantage of that, right? If you see a rejection of the EMA, take your sell. You see it kind of respecting that EMA, enjoy the ride. It's one of those things that TNA helps.
Yep. And, for all those that say that TA is witchcraft and hocus pocus and hogwash. Well, when you learn how to do it, or you see others doing TA and you see how well price respects it, you got to have a little bit of trust and faith in it. Like on this chart here, just this uptrend, and then the 200, as soon as it met here, boom, blasted off. So TA definitely works. Not all TA, obviously, but if you take enough indicators and put them together and do your charting, you can actually see how well it actually does work. It works fairly well. All right, skip over. Okay, so gentlemen, is there any other news that you're hearing in the crypto space on your sides of the world, or parts of the country anyway?
For me, I'll tell you, Cardano continues to make its effect known. Like I said, even from last week, that pump from Bitcoin definitely has helped propel it forward. And as far as news, same thing, right? I think that Gensler's hopeful ousting or role change, because I don't really want anybody to ever lose their ability to feed their families, right?
Right.
I don't think this channel's about that. However, if you're not doing the job right, things need to change. With that being said, I know that Robinhood is relisting Cardano, so that's going to be a boost for them. So little things like that is happening around the crypto markets. I expected a bigger movement though from the alts, to be honest with you. Not all alts kind of rode around this wave. But so I don't know if this redistribution of Bitcoin will be trickling down to these alts. That's what I'm kind of hoping that happens. So we can start taking advantage, right? I mean, it's time for all season to really start kicking into gear, and I just can't wait for that.
Well, speaking of alt season, Kara, I'll let you have a input in a second, but I just pulled up the Bitcoin dominance chart, and as you can see, it did. I did have a trend line on here, but it did come down and touch the trend line. It actually did lose it briefly, but it popped back up. So as long as Bitcoin dominance is still rising, you'll see Bitcoin will it'll perform a little bit better than altcoins will, because the liquidity and volume in the market is going into Bitcoin. What we want to see is that Bitcoin dominance begin to drop, just like it did in previous cycles. As soon as it begins to drop, and then that's when we can get an alt season. And but right now it continues to rise. The other chart I wanted to look at before I get to Terry is the I know I have it here, the USDT dominance chart. Here we go. USDT dominance, it is right, just it bounced off that trend again. It's done it now for a couple of days, right at that 422 to 440% or 4.4. Sorry. So what that significance is, chart used to always mention this and show the chart, is we need this USDT dominance to break through this support. And when it does, that means that the percent of USDT has gone down, and that money has flowed into the market. So the further the USDT dominance goes down, the more money comes into the market, and the higher we can go. But I'm kind of surprised with the run that we've had in Bitcoin in the last week, that this hasn't actually fallen further. So that could be taken one of two ways. One, it's new money coming in, retail coming in and buying Bitcoin and helping the price go up, or people are just kind of holding on to their USDT for whatever reason. I don't know if they think it's a fake out or what's going on, and institutions are the ones buying and putting the price up on Bitcoin. But either way, we'd like to see this USDT dominance go down. Sorry, Terry, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, so I think that like Solana definitely was one of the benefited greatly from this move on Bitcoin, and also the underperformance of Ethereum, to be honest, because it seems like typically you have the money rotate from Bitcoin into the Ethereum and then into a lesser alt, Solana being one of the primaries there. It just seems like a lot of that just sort of skipped right over Ethereum, went straight into Solana. So Solana responding really, really nicely to that. You talked a little bit about the meme coins earlier, and I don't think they really had a great run. You had a few new ones go off like they always do, but I think that really the ones that benefited most were sort of the blue chips, right? I mean, you talked about Pepe. You mentioned Pepe. Peanut was another big one. Lucy. Um, let's see, Mudang.
Hmm.
Popped back up. Fwog came back up. Fwog came up over 700 million. Pepe was just unbelievable, though. I mean, that's just for that market cap,
Yeah.
to double like that. I mean, I think it went like 2.5x in like 10 days or something. I mean, it was just insane.
Yeah,
Peanut
crazy. I think it
also.
jumped like 8 spots on the overall market rankings.
Yeah, pretty incredible. I
Yeah.
was super surprised by that. And then Peanut. Well, Peanut and the Department of Government Efficiency, both of those really, really driven by Elon, right?
Mm.
Tweeting about them and whatnot. Boy, he really, really pushed Peanut. I was pretty stoked about that, to be honest with you, because I was talking about that around, I don't know when it was. I guess it was on the 2nd. Looks like the 2nd of November it was. Anyway, it was. I was saying, yeah, if it drops below 5.5 or 4.5 million, maybe that's a good place to buy in. Well, obviously it was.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah, you mentioned Solana because ETH has been underperforming this market. There's no doubt about that. And Solana was one of the ones, or one of the main ones that really took advantage of that. And the other one, Solana is on the screen now. The other one is Sui. Like Sui has just gone crazy. I remember following this back when it had its lows. Back in, when was this? I guess August. Yeah, August, September. It dipped as low as, what do we got here? Like 50 cents, 45 cents, 46 cents. And, nobody was giving Sui a chance. But then all of a sudden, it just kind of had a run out of nowhere. And in a few short months, August 24th was the low. Today is now November, what are we at? November 14th. So basically 3 months went from 46 cents all the way up to $3.37. That is incredible. I don't know. Oh, what do we got? Yeah, 575% to the current price. So that's a pretty incredible run. So not only did a lot of the liquidity that would normally go into Ethereum go into Solana, but clearly it went into Sui as well. Sui is a smaller market cap. So obviously the price can run up a little bit quicker than Solana. Solana's at about $100 billion market cap, whereas Sui is only about an $8 billion. But the biggest thing on Sui, as I had shown before, I'll come back here on the different chains, give this a refresh. Sui is among the top 10, or have been among the top 10 in DEX volume, mainly DeFi section, in quite some time. And they've got a lot of emerging DEXs on there, such as Navi and Cetus. And Cetus actually last week, I guess it was, had a really good run itself on the price of the Cetus token. So yeah, as we move along here, it'd be interesting to see if Ethereum reclaims their status. I mean, I know they are the number 2 project by market cap, but it certainly hasn't shown it so far in this bull market. They just had such a big lead that they're still up there at number 2. Whether or not anybody can catch Ethereum in market cap this bull market, I doubt it, because Ethereum is too big. But there's going to be a lot that outperform Ethereum, like in the top 10. Never mind in the rest of the crypto space. Is there any charts or anything you guys also wanted to look at?
No, but I would like to mention, didn't we have USDC take another dip into a couple of cents? I thought we saw that again recently. Was it
USDT
US? Oh,
or
yeah, there you go.
USDT?
I think it could have been USDT as well, right? One of them took a small 3-cent dip, right, for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I thought it was one of them recently. Maybe I was wrong.
It's
Well, maybe.
possible. I mean, it happens. It's probably USDT. I think it was, because there was that regurgitated story that USDT isn't backed, and there was a lot of that USDT FUD that happens every single bull market. I believe it did retrace a couple of cents, but it didn't last very long, clearly. And
No, hopefully people took advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Especially USDT.
That's a free 3%.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when USDC took that, what was it, 11 cents, 12 cents dip. That was a nice money for free, like literally free money
Mm-hmm.
when it came back up.
Okay. I guess we can discuss now. Now, what I mentioned at the top, and what I think is important to let people understand is right now. I mean, yeah, you could take a few profits off the top, off the table, because take advantage of this dip. But it's certainly not time to exit the market. There will come a time to exit the market. No one's going to be able to time the top perfectly. You look at different influencers and different people, and they will give you a different price range or a different target. But you'll never ever time the top. And this being my 2.5 bull market, one thing I've certainly learned is greed can be a huge enemy when it comes to exiting the crypto market. I know there's an overwhelming feeling that you want to just hold on for that little bit more, but the problem with that is 95%, it could be even higher than that. They end up riding it almost all the way down. And if they do finally pull out, they either break even or at a slight loss or even a slight profit. That is the worst feeling in the world when that happens, because that, the thought of leaving money on the table or what could have been can sometimes be, overwhelming, and you don't want to have that feeling. Trust me, take it from someone who that has happened to, and I'm sure it may have happened to you, gentlemen, as well. So this time, one thing I'm definitely not going to do is I'm not going to let that happen again. Now, the way I'm going to do it is I will set certain targets on certain cryptos that I have. Now, the way the crypto market works, you got your different narratives, and the main scale is Bitcoin pumps as it is now, which it is not finished. It's just having a bit of a cool off period, but it will get to a point where it does start to peak out. Like Bitcoin dominance will start coming down. Mind you, Bitcoin will still continue to go up slowly, but the money will flow into the altcoins. First high caps, then mid caps, then low caps. Previous bull markets, you could throw meme coins in there toward the end, but I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think meme coins are going to be a thing the whole way through. They won't really have a cool off, I don't believe. Maybe Terry can expand on that. So what you need to do is, if you are invested in Bitcoin, Bitcoin is one of those ones, store of value, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of people, their strategy is to hold on to their Bitcoin no matter what, which is perfectly fine. In the long term, you can hold on to Bitcoin 5-10 years down the road. It's certainly going to be worth more than what it is now. But when it comes to altcoins, you got to follow the narratives. And whatever narrative is hot, you ride those, make sure you're allocated somewhere in the market in those narratives. Ride those up, and then figure out certain areas that you would like, not necessarily your portfolio, but the individual altcoin prices, price targets. Where do you think they'll get to? And if they get to those positions, you take a little bit out. As the price rides up and hits your next target, you take a little bit out. Even if you don't have targets, just when you look at your portfolio one morning and you're up 15-20%, take a little off the top. It does, believe me, yes, there's possibly more to be made, but that's not what really matters. What really matters is you are taking profits and you are banking that money. As the narrative shifts, that's when you either take out 80%, 90% of the previous narrative tokens once you've taken your profits, and you can let them ride in case there's an outlier and they go back up, or maybe later in the bull market they go back up or continue to go back up. But the important thing to do is, when it shifts narratives, you pay attention and watch that section, those tokens that you're holding, if you're holding tokens in that narrative, and do the same thing. As the price goes up, you ladder out. Price goes up, you ladder out. Leave a little bit in for a bull moon bag. Eventually, it'll get down to the micro caps, and I'm not sure a lot of the OG investors will have a ton of micro caps, meme coins possibly, but Every now and then you'll get lucky. You invest in a project, maybe a seed sale where the market cap is really, really low, and then it just explodes and you make, a ton of gains. We can all hope for that, but that doesn't always happen. Very rarely does it happen, especially if it's in a meme coin. Although the last few weeks you had some pretty good opportunities in a few of the new ones. But anyway, all I'm saying here is as your portfolio increases and increases and increases, make sure you take some profits. You may not get max profits out of this bull market by doing it this way, but I can guarantee you at the end of this bull market, you will have made profits. And I can also say with almost 100% certainty, if you're one of those that is just euphoric and you hold on to your bag and let it ride right to the top, you're more than likely not going to sell on the way down, because you're going to feel like I did last bull market. Oh, this is just a pullback. It'll go back up. Just a pullback. It'll go back up. And then it never goes back up. So you don't want to lose in this market. You want to come out of this market way ahead of what you were. And it's very easy. Like, you're going to get, 3, 4, 5, 10x on some of your tokens. So make sure you take profits on the way up. Please, please, please make sure you take profits. You will thank me later when it's all said and done, because your buddy's sitting right beside you, head in hand saying, why didn't I take profits on the way up? So that's my advice, not financial advice, but my advice on what I'm going to do. And I highly suggest to all of my friends out there that you do the same thing, because you will be happy you did in the end. Gentlemen, I turn it over to you. Juan, I know we've discussed this, you and I, before, about profit taking. It's so important, and not enough people take that to heart. You specifically, do you have a plan for exiting this market?
Yeah, it just depends on what I'm in. Like when we discuss Bitcoin, I'm a big believer in it, so I will always tend to either DCA or maybe take a little off the top, and then when the price drops, use that same money, buy some more, that kind of thing. When it comes to the regular altcoins, I'm in the middle, right? Definitely like you, take that 20% whenever I can, and keep that profit coming in, so that way I can always get back what I put in. When it comes to memes, I said this before, it's a gamble for me. So if I know that I'm going to throw $1,000 away, $500 away, I let it ride. That's the whole point of it, right? I have a better chance of spending $100 on a meme coin and maybe getting a 10x return than I do taking that same 100, going to the lotto store and hoping that I get 10x my money. The chances of that is a lot smaller. So if I'm going to throw money away, I would throw it away in the meme and let that ride. And then when I see it double, when I see it triple, when I see it 10x, take it. I don't care if it goes higher. I even delete the listing from my phone because I don't want to know what happens. I'm already out. I'm not the type of guy to say, oh man, I wish I held on longer. No, I just exit. So, I mean, that's kind of my philosophy. When it comes to that, you should always have a diversified portfolio. And because of that, you have different strategies for each one. It's not a one size fit all. And I think that's how I've been keeping myself afloat when it comes to living in the crypto market.
That's a solid strategy, and I wouldn't call it safe, but you stick to your plan, and you'll definitely end up coming out ahead. What about yourself, Terry? I know, right now everyone's thought is straight to Valhalla, but there comes a point when you got to take a little bit off the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things you talked about was, set targets, maybe keep a moon bag. One implied maybe swing a portion, right? Trim a little bit when, price goes up, particularly when you see an impulsive move, right? You see one of those big candles, it's like, man, that's probably coming back. Maybe not immediately, but at some point, some of that's coming back. You could probably get back in cheaper if you want it, right? So always good to trim a little bit. One thing I don't think that people pay much attention to is that when price goes up, it increases your exposure, right? I mean, woo, that's great. We're in profit, and we're making more money. But I think the greed kind of blinds you to that. It's like, look, you decided, or you should have decided, in my opinion, when you place the trade, what percentage of your portfolio you were comfortable risking on that trade. And if you have something that goes 2, 3, 4, 5x, you may have exceeded that. So taking profits is about rebalancing your risk, your exposure versus, potential profits and stuff. And so it really, really super important to do that on the way up. But see, I also agree that Bitcoin's having a bit of a cool off. That it's going to go higher. Just probably not right now. Maybe just chop around a little bit. Who's to know? Memes are proving surprisingly durable. I really had expected. I expected them to cool off. I was sort of seeing memes as like the sign that Bitcoin's really not ready to go higher yet, because they'd always been sort of like the end of the cycle before, right? They were like the top signal. Previously, I think that that's maybe not the case anymore. Like you said, that they're just going to be around. They're always going to be there now.
Yeah. It's become memes are a part of pop culture, and when it came to crypto, it was just another narrative. But I think the pop culture part of it, now that Bitcoin or crypto in general has taken on a lot more adoption, the pop culture is going to be an always thing, just like in our everyday lives. So I think, like you said, it will continue. Okay. The other one other thing I wanted to show guys, which I guess I should have shown earlier during the market watch. One thing I like to take a look at, which also kind of gives you an indication of which way the market makers are going to push the price, is the liquidations. And as you can see currently, there are a lot of long liquidations in the market. This is 7-day. If I go to just the 1 day. Okay, so today there's a lot of shorts because price is going down. But if you look at the weekly, with the way Bitcoin price action has been, and there's just over $10 billion in liquidations, going all the way down to $78,000. And on the other side of that coin, there's only 5.5 million at 98,000. So the market is very, very bullish, probably over bullish. And it would not surprise me one bit if the market dumps down and scoops up a lot of this liquidity. It may not go all the way down to 77, although if Terry is correct, it will, and they could completely wipe out the longs in the market, which in my opinion, as much as it would suck for those that are in long positions, it's not such a bad thing, because that will reset the market and then we can continue higher. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to show, and I haven't shown it in a little while, is the, where is that? The rainbow chart. Here we go. I like to show this whenever possible. Okay. So here's the rainbow chart. Just kind of gives us an idea of where we are. And since we've had this massive run, I haven't really seen it. So yeah, we've escaped the accumulate and buy zone, the buy zone. And we are now in mid, close to top to accumulate, and near still cheap, which is kind of surprising. But I mean, if Bitcoin, not a lot, but a few of the smart people in the business, let's just say that, they seem to think that Bitcoin is going to go anywhere between 180 to 2. It depends on who you ask. So if that is the case, then this is pretty accurate. Let's see what we get. No, it's not even going to give a prediction price, but so that'll take us up here somewhere in the is this a bubble FOMO intensifies? So we'll look at that every week as well to see how that is moving along. So that's it. Oh yeah, I'm going to show the MVRV score as well. It just kind of gives you an indication. Each bull market, the MVRV score, when it gets up to the 80% range, you've pretty much hit peak euphoria and peak of the market. And currently we are nowhere near. We're at 36. Yeah. So we're nowhere near the peak of the market. And it's interesting to see that each bull market, it got progressive. So the back in 2017. Yep, 2017. The peak got up in the 80s, but yet the Bitcoin price right down here. And then now you can see the Bitcoin price has just skyrocketed, and the MVRV is still way down here at 30 something. So that's it for that. Okay, so comment. All right. Okay, where we come up to 39 minutes. Okay, so Juan, last week I know we didn't really get to touch on props or anything like that, and you kind of quickly went over gold because gold was pumping a lot. It hit an all-time high. But how's the previous week looking on both gold and your props?
Well, right now, because of this whole regulation space, like prop firms, as far as using them for MT5 purposes, medicals has been shutting down a lot of prop firms. So that's going to be challenging for people who kind of don't want to use their own money. I kind of want to start practicing and getting in. Even just demo accounts have been tough to get. There's just this aura of, MT5 bad. It's unfortunate, but that's the current state of affairs in America. If you're Europe, Australia, you guys are pretty good. You guys are backed. But when it comes to us here in the States, definitely having some issues with MT5. When you look overall at how gold's been performing, like you said, about right around the election, we're riding high about 20, almost approaching the $2,800. But since then, we're at 2564. So those who have heeded my advice when it came to looking at the correlation between gold and Bitcoin, and you decided that you guys want to trade that, you were able to take advantage of some of these drops. And we're probably a very happy camper. $200 is a nice chunk of change when it comes to a drop like that for gold. And again, right, this has nothing to do with Trump becoming president or anything like that. It's, again, like I said, it's more of how people utilize gold to support their future investments. A lot of people made a good amount of money in gold. They took the profits out, and instead of just putting it in their pocket and buying a car, they reinvested to make more money. And Bitcoin was probably where they put it in, and you can see a lot of happy people in Bitcoin as well. So it's how people are utilizing that. I foresee that eventually gold will start stabilizing again, because again, the holidays does impact gold in a positive way. People buy gold jewelry; it's worth the money. They want to have high prices. So I definitely see that continuing to be the trend. But then at the end of the day, right, TNA is going to be your friend. Check to see what's happening. Check the news. Right, this is where one of those things where you cannot do a TNA and predict, oh, gold is just going to fall $200. Right. This is one of those things where you read the room, you see the sentiment, you see where money's moving to. You look at the dollar index, see what's happening, and you see people are making moves. But that's really about it in the forex space. I'm hoping that with the new administration, the prop firm rules will start loosening up a little bit, and we'll start seeing MT5 back in the space. There are other prop firms, but again, a lot of them do not take American customers. So those are the challenges we're dealing with. And I'm hoping, again, that the new administration will kind of be a little bit more lax and a little bit more prudent in fixing this problem when it comes to prop firms and being able to trade in forex markets because of leverage.
Right. Yeah. And you can see the gold chart there on the chart. It's unfortunate, but hopefully with the new administration that they're pro crypto, pro innovation, and pro American thriving, I guess you could say that hopefully that does change. Okay, Terry, one last thing I want to ask you is, I know you enjoy your meme coins and of course everything else that comes to the market. You just enjoy the market in general. But is there anything in particular that you've been watching that you have on your radar?
I'm watching Sugar, which is one that launched pretty recently here. I can throw it up on my screen, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be curious to see. I'm always keen on seeing new meme coins in the market.
There we go. Yeah, I'm waiting for a little bit of pullback on this. I actually did enter a scalp short on this, and I got like, I don't know, was it 30%? Something like, yeah, 31%. It started looking a little weak here, so I went ahead and dropped out looking for a pullback on that. But it was just at a really, really nice place in the chart, right? So, I mean, it came down off the highs, and you never really look for them to regain those highs, but you look for some bounces, and you look for places where there's been a lot of high volume traded in the chart previously. So, obviously, the point of control was pretty obvious one, and so the MACD was low, and the RSI was crossing over. It just looked like a really good place to take a long from there. And yeah, just quick in and out. So what was, I don't know, it's 15 minutes. So I was under an hour, 30% an hour, not so bad. Good work if you can find it.
At all.
And looks like we'll continue going up. I was just expecting it to drop down a little bit lower. The lower, see, like the 5-minute time frame overheated. That looks like that's going to come down a little bit, at least on the RSI. The 3-minute probably likewise. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, it's going to come out. I don't think it'll come back down much lower, but probably see some chopping around. Just looking for an entry down here, a little bit closer to 2 million. Probably not that low. If it drops to 2 million, I probably wouldn't be too happy with it, but just keep an eye on the RSI. That one, bullseye. No, bullseye's been kind of crappy. All the big ones we talked about earlier, Flag, Mudang, Luce, Peanut, which has just been insane. Major pullback on Peanut right now, though, which is totally to be expected.
Yeah, and Doge as well. Big pullback.
Yeah, which Doge? The Department of Government.
Not Dogecoin, but Doge.
yeah. Well, we have like S Doge. Doge on Solana.
There's so many.
Department of Government Efficiency. There's Department of Gov Efficiency on Sol, which is also a viable coin. Like 45 million market cap or something. It's I forgot, I haven't checked it, but it's a viable coin. But man, this PvP stuff, it just drives me mad. You get one coin that's successful, one token gets launched, and then like 5-10 other people follow along with something, either a spin-off or more often something that is just simply designed to mislead people. And it just drives me nuts. You have 5 of them, you're like, dude, give me the contract address because there's 5, whatever, muffin cats or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, that can be frustrating. And that's also, a point of where people they get misled into investing in a certain token, thinking that they're getting into a different one, like an original. And I especially feel bad if those ones are, launched quickly, the market cap goes up quite a lot because of the name, and then the devs pull or rug. And that happens when investors are not savvy enough to take a look at deck screener or whatever to make sure it's the original contract, make sure that there's no red flags or anything like that. They just ape in simply because they heard about it and they get into the wrong one. It's unfortunate. That part of the space maybe needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it's the Wild West. You're basically gambling on a lot of these, and it's unfortunate, but it's part of the game.
Well, that's a good argument for being in a group, in my opinion. You need your gang. You got to have your homies who are watching your back. Like, I can't do all that research myself. Some people do, I guess, but I spend so much time on charts that I don't do a lot of research. I depend on other people to do that. Everybody sort of adds their piece, and if you have a crew, right, you can really get together. You can really cook.
Now, that's a perfect segue. I've got the link up on the screen. And in the description is the link to the Discord. Degens is where Terry is from. That is where I met him. That is an incredible Discord community and NFT project. There's a lot of very smart individuals in there. There's plenty of different trading channels and strategy channels, and just the community overall. They always help one another. That's a great place to start to get proper information and to kind of follow along what some of these experienced guys are doing. So the link to the Discord and the weekly newsletter is also in the description, and on the screen is the website for to subscribe to the newsletter, which is absolutely free as well. So that was a good segue, Terry.
Thanks. Nice job. Unplanned.
Yeah, no. Hey, when I see an opportunity, I take advantage of it as soon as I possibly can. And then one other thing I wanted to put up on the screen as well is, if you're not already signed up for the DeFi University website, Chris from DeFi Club on Telegram, a lot of great info on there. He's really into liquidity pools and that kind of thing. Basically, if you want to have supplement income or passive income, as they call it, that's a great place also to go and learn about liquidity pools. And the link to that is also in the description. All right, gentlemen, I know a little bit short. We're only at 50 minutes, but you know, there's not much more that can be said about the last week. The market went crazy. Bitcoin is doing fine. We're kind of doing a bit of consolidation right now. Alts are up, but they're nowhere near, you know, as exciting as they're going to be in the weeks, and months to come. Once Bitcoin has kind of lost steam and the dominance begins to drop, then you'll see the altcoins just go crazy. And that's what most of us are waiting for. And the whole point of this video, other than the weekly update, is to make sure that once your portfolio does go up, please take profits. A little bit off the top, here and there, set goals, you know, lay out a strategy and stick with it. You may not get 100% of the possible profits when it hits the peak of the market. Nobody can time the peak. It's just the way it is. But you can always limit your risk by, you know, taking some money off as it goes up. There's nothing ever wrong with taking profits. You can never go wrong doing that. Any final words, gentlemen? Juan, I'll start with you before we head out.
Yeah. Again, this is one of those periods where consolidation will be happening. You're going to see so much market fluctuations. I think that the weekend will definitely be telling again on how we will start the week. And that's usually typical around this type of year, to have the kind of weekend start dictating the rest of the week. And so I'm excited to see where Bitcoin will take us. I think that it's a hell of a roller coaster. I don't foresee it chasing down too many longs because they want that water cooler talk. So that way people can continue to invest in it. My thoughts are that when it comes to Bitcoin and the ETFs, there is a lot of support. And I'm not talking about from people like us. I'm just talking about in general, where people who are in the position to make decisions. And they definitely don't want Bitcoin to go crash down to 15 again. I don't think that's the idea for Bitcoin. So they have to make sure now, especially with the ETFs, that it's supported, especially because so many people have it. So that's going to be an exciting way how the market's going to shift. I think the volatility, you're still going to have it. I just don't think it's going to be as crazy. And I think that's why you saw such a move from gold into Bitcoin. It's just to show that level of support, because gold it's just never going to disappear, right?
Right.
So they want to kind of have Bitcoin ubiquitous with gold right now. And it's going to take a while, but I think that we're on a trajectory to have crypto here to stay, and Bitcoin's going to lead the way.
Agreed. Terry, yourself.
Absolutely agree with that. You know, I think we are going to see lowered volatility after that big move. I think there's going to be some uncertainty this week, but just not a lot of crazy moves, right? So I think that probably maybe set some orders, but you do a lot of sitting on your hands, or take some long walks, go fishing, whatever it is you need to do to touch grass. I wouldn't be staring at a screen a lot this week.
Great advice. Yeah, that's a great point. People need to, especially if your eyes are glued to the screen, this can be an exciting time. It could last week. Well, it's going to last months, actually. So you got to make sure that, take some time for yourself, get outside, enjoy the family, get away from the screen, kind of clear your mind, because it can be very, very stressful and full of anxiety when things get like this. But yeah, it's a great point. All right. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining me today. Terry, thanks again for joining us, filling in. Great job as always. Juan, as always, good to see you. Before you head out, please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. If you're watching the video, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. And we will see you next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.